This is Boxing Tickets NI in association with Violent Gentlemen. We're glad to say we're joined with Gavin Gwynne. How are you, Gavin?
Yeah, I'm good. Just had my breakfast now. Done a PT this morning, so I'm fresh. Yeah.
Fresh and ready to go for another weekend. You were sort of saying off camera that the weather sort of started to calm down a wee bit, so it's probably a more breathable morning for you.
Yeah, it's been really hot here. I think on the Wednesday it was 34 degrees. I jumped in my car. I thought, geez, I turned the aircon on. I had to stand outside for a couple of minutes when it got cold inside. Yeah, that's how hot it's been. I'm. Look at me. Amazing tan. It's like I've been on holidays. Yeah, it's been lush, and I love the sun, and I've been able to do work outside now as well. So it's been really good. But today it's a bit overcast and raining, so hopefully we have a bit of rain now today and tomorrow, and then back to the sunshine Monday. Then
definitely, it's like we're getting like Spain and Portugal weather type in the UK, and where we can't get away for a holiday, at least the sunshine comes to us. At the end of the summer, we'll probably not. Well, I'll probably still look pale. You'll not.
Yeah, but it's like a different heat, isn't it? I don't know what it is. When you go abroad, you can stick the heat no matter what the temperature is. But here, it gets to a certain temperature, and you can't sit out in it. I don't know what. Maybe because you can jump in a pool and have a pint or whatever, when you're on holidays. But it's mad. I don't know. It's strange. It is.
It is. So I'm guessing, obviously, at this stage, I think you're coming up now about 5 months since obviously your fight with Sean, but I'm guessing you're probably still on the crest of a wave. Obviously, you're probably fair to say your biggest win of your career, Commonwealth Champion. You're probably still sort of going, I'm still in a buzz, it's still on a higher. Or are you getting to the stage now you're going, I just want to get back into action?
Yeah, I'm the type of guy, I just like fighting. So it was I think it was about 3 or 4 weeks after, and I was ready to get another fight on then. I only had 2 weeks off the gym. Well, I think it was a week and a half. My hands were really bruised up after, so I left them alone, and I was just doing some cardio work and everything else. And then I started punching. I think it was 3 weeks after, and I haven't stopped since. I've been lucky enough to go full-time professional now as well. So that's been a massive help for me. I'm just getting up in the morning, living the right life, going to the gym, training, coming home having my rest, and then training again in the night. And I just want to get another fight in now. I think 5 months is enough for anyone to be out the ring, long enough for anyone to be out the ring. I've been one of the lucky ones. I've had 2 fights in the pandemic, so I know there's a lot of fighters out there. I haven't even had 1 fight yet. So, but I got that title now, so it gives me a little bit of strength in my back to get me on these TV shows, and hopefully have a big fight soon. Yeah.
And how did you find, obviously, fighting during the pandemic? Obviously, like anybody, I guess, sport isn't anything sometimes without fans. I guess probably even more so. There can't be fighting, obviously, without fighters. But did you find it strange? You've obviously had the mixed bag. You've obviously had a win and a defeat, during the pandemic with that. How did you find sort of with the pandemic with that? It was a strange. It was did it feel eerie, nearly you're in a ghost town sort of, and going, where is everybody? Or is it just a case of just being focused and ready for action?
The first time round, I didn't know what to expect. That was the first time for me. Obviously, it was in the back garden. It was an outdoor event as well in Eggington's back garden on Fight Camp, a box gym's Tennyson. But it was a bit eerie. I can always remember, and I tell everyone this. It was a drone, a TV drone going up and down. Mm-hmm. The whole fight, even when I got knocked down, I could hear the drone going up and down. It was strange. It was a weird feeling. It was. But then when I boxed Sean, then it was inside. It was just like being in one of the gyms. So I think I was more comfortable. I was more comfortable in that arena more than anything. With it being outside with no crowd, it was eerie.
And I guess obviously what you're saying there with the drones, I guess probably for a fan sort of perspective, maybe it might not have box. It's probably like ringing ear syndrome. You know, like somebody's punching the ear and all you can hear is the ringing noise. You know,
Yeah,
wouldn't have been good, I guess, obviously when James was probably landing big punches and it put you down.
yeah,
You're going, is that the drone I hear, or is there something else? You know, is it something else in the ear? But
yeah. It was strange, like, but it is what it is. I'm not saying if that drone wasn't able to win the fight, but like it was just a strange, like it was just a strange feeling. It was a strange place, really. Like the boxing, like it was mad. And like that will be with me for the rest of my life. Like be boxing on an event like that. It was fantastic to box on an event like that, and massive thank you to Eddie and Matchroom for giving me the opportunity, because I've boxed on two massive events for Matchroom now, and
Mhm.
I'm not even a Matchroom fighter.
It's,
So
it's crazy how it works out. And to say, when you obviously boxed in that last year, it was pretty much the start of boxing coming back to the UK as well. So you were one
yeah,
of the sort of first back in the action, and probably like a guinea pig for the rest in terms of what ways the fighter's going to take it, how they're going to perform and things like that. So for some people, for some fighters, you were sort of a guinea pig to go, let's tune in and see how they get on with this and hear what they say and how they prepared for it and things like that. So definitely it's a unique time that it was last year.
oh yeah, like I can remember me and Tony on the way up there, like, and we said, what are we doing? Like, we're in a pandemic. We're off up to Essex to fight in someone's back garden. That's what it was, really. It's just it was a mad feeling. Like it's crazy, but it's like it's a story to tell the grandkids, really, in years
Yeah.
to come.
You can say obviously because Eddie Hearn's obviously lacked such a great career, obviously promoting and things like that.
Yeah,
Obviously, he took over from his father and stuff as well, but I think he's sort of taking it to the next level. You know, if you were always, if you were to say, if I was to say to you 2 years ago, a promoter is going to do something in their back garden, you'd know it was Eddie Hearn.
yeah. It's it sounds a bit strange when you say like that, but like he is next level, and like he is down to earth as well. Like to chat to and everything else. He is like one of the boys. That's who he is, and he's so nice as a person. Like so, yeah.
Is
I
that
think
Jet?
that I think that's why a lot of people like him, and a lot of people don't like him in a way as well.
Yeah,
So
he's a
because he,
Jekyll and Hyde approach. You either
yeah,
love him or you hate him, but he loves to play. Like any time he comes to Belfast, like he's
yeah,
obviously been over with Carl Frampton and
yeah,
even recently with Ryan Burnett. But even when he was over as Ryan Burnett's promoter and he
yeah,
spoke to the crowd, he still gets booed. He loves to play the boo man and sort of in Belfast.
yeah,
It's strange in the way you're going. He's going to speak like he was over for. They done the press conference for Frampton Quig before the fight over here. I think remember they done the 3-day press tour. And they come over
yeah.
here, everybody just kept booing Eddie and going, "Who are you? Who are you?" And
I think he just plays up for it all. That's what it is. Like he just plays up to it. It's not nothing. It don't mean nothing to him, does it? But I think everyone plays up to him as well. It's not as that they hate him. It's just the way it is. Like it's good, isn't it?
it
It's a
definitely
good
is.
bit of banter, like, do you know what I mean?
So, as I sort of like to do with anybody I bring on for the first time, I sort of like to roll things back. Sometimes with social media, people only see on fights and things like that. For
Yeah,
I obviously don't know the concept of what sort of people tune in and stuff to watch interviews, but I always seem to
yeah.
think of young amateurs and things like that coming through the sport. They like to hear a story and like to hear how people get involved. So, at what age did you start boxing, and was there a particular reason that you got into boxing?
Um, I think 11, 12, something like that. I was. It was a local gym by me, literally 5 minute walk, and my best friend Chris Thomas, his grandpa Dennis Andrews used to run the club.
Hmm.
So we'd go now and then, just mucking about, really, like. And I done it for about a year and a half, 2 years, and then got to about like 13, 14, and then you find out about girls and drinking on the streets and up to get into trouble and things like that. And I went away from it for a few years. and then I come back when I was 18. And then I think I had my first fight about 8 months later. And it just, all from then, I've been like boxing. It's just like, that's all I think about day in, day out. It's like, it's a real passion of mine as well. I like studying the game. I like watching old fighters. It's just a love I got for it, really. Yeah.
So did you only have your first fight sort of returning after 18, or did you have any in the earlier stages of when you first started?
No, I didn't have any fights, obviously, sparring in the gym and that, but that's not like a fight, is it? I never, because I'd go 1 week and then I wouldn't turn up the next. And then that's what I'd be like. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't committed. So obviously they weren't going to commit on me because I wasn't turning up all the time, sort of thing. So yeah, but then when I went back, I was like, I want to have a fight now. So I just stayed training, and and they got me a fight like a couple of months later, and I think it was a Welsh novice final. There was no one else like in my weight class at the time to get a club show fight. So I just had to enter the novices, and I ended up having a bye straight through to the final. I lost my first fight. I was gutted. I thought I won, and then I think I went on a 16-fight win streak again, all the way through, and then I ended up boxing Zach Davis in the. No, sorry, I won the novice championships the year after, and then I entered the open championships, and then I lost to Zach Davis, who had like over 100 amateur fights. He was on the GB set. That was a youth, and I thought I won that fight as well, if I'm honest, in the semi-finals. And then Colin Jones emailed my coach to ask me if I wanted to go down and do some training down the Welsh team. And from then I went, I think it was like 7 months later, I went on to win the Welsh Open Championships then. And then I got to box for Wales. This was all in the matter of like 2.5 years. Like it was like fast track straight away. Like it was like it was mad. But like the I didn't have much experience, but like I was always willing to like learn and taking advice off any coach or anyone who was willing to work with me, sort of thing. And so I boxed for Wales then for, I think it was a year and a half, 2 years. I had GB trials. I got through to the third trial, and I just, in my head, I was like, I think of the Olympics were like 2 years later, or a year and a half later, and I was thinking, I've got no chance of going to Olympics. They're just going to use me for sparring, and that's going to be it. Like, so I don't want to be used as a sparring partner. I want to be the one fighting, sort of thing. So I thought I'm gonna turn over, and then I made the jump, and I got hold of Chris Saniga, and I knew he was doing a lot of shows down in South Wales, and I thought that'll give me a massive advantage boxing in my hometown, sort of thing, in Wales. And we just went from there, really.
And like, obviously, we sort of spoke of this off air, but you're 5 years a pro yesterday. And I guess when you sort of take out pretty much like the pandemic, I know you fought twice within the pandemic, but if we didn't have pandemic times, you may have fought more than twice probably within that period.
About 6-7 times I would have probably boxed. Like, I know Chris would have had a lot of shows on. He works with S4C as well, so I could have had a couple of TV shows on there, and or even I could have got up on a couple of these big shows, the Matchroom shows, like, as well. So probably 7 times, like, yeah.
And obviously your record so far, 13-2 with 3 knockouts. Well, like when I sort of glance, as anybody does, and you sort of glance over your box, Rick, I think a thing a lot of people look at now is whether a fighter's got a positive record or a negative record. Obviously there's more defeats than wins. So over your first 9 fights, I think every fighter you had, now obviously you won the Welsh area titles in that time, but they had like a losing record. Would it be fair to say that maybe it took you a bit of time to adjust to the pro ranks, or was it just a case of getting the right opponents? Like, I think you were actually at one stage supposed to fight Kieran McVarnock.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I think that was supposed to be for a Celtic title, wasn't it? Something happened. I can't remember what it was. So you had to pull out of the fight, and then I ended up boxing just like a 6-rounder then against the Journeymen. But like going off like them Journeymen sort of fighters, it was just getting my rounds in. Like in the changing rooms, like Chris would always say to me, right, don't go hurting these guys. Don't try and stop them. You stop these guys, and no Journeyman will want to fight you, and you'll have to be chucked in the deep end straight away. So it was a case of just taking people around, getting the rounds in, fighting in front of crowds, and learning while I'm on the job, sort of thing. And that's the reason why I've got a lot of knockouts. I can remember I boxed a guy from, I'm sure he was from Afghanistan. It was his debut, and the first round he come out like all guns blazing, like he hadn't read the script, like, sort of thing. So I thought, right, if you're having it, then if you want to come here, you're having it. I ended up stopping him. I just beat him up really, and ended up stopping him. And I can remember Chris now to this day like shouting at me, like, "What are you doing? You can't be doing this!" Like, shout at me, because like like, it's right, like no Journeyman's gonna want to fight you, because they can't fight like 10 days till they want to be fighting like every week, don't they? That's bread and butter sort of thing. So he was right in what he was saying, but yeah, and as soon as I got stepped up then against Myron Mills, that was a true 50-50 fight. Both unbeaten. He had a higher knockout record. Very skillful fighter. But I come through with shining color. Like, I was brilliant on the night, really. Everything went to plan. That's all down to Tony Borg as well. Like, but as soon as I got stepped up, it was perfect timing in my career. So yeah.
I guess it's, like, Journeyman gets slated, everywhere they sort of go nowadays, but they play a massive role in the sport, and
Yeah.
you don't have a massive amateur career in terms of Commonwealths, and obviously I know with Olympics on at the minute. It's hard. You can't bypass that route, so you have to go through it. So, it's important, because at the end of the day, if you didn't have that Journeyman type approach, you probably wouldn't still be boxing now, because you may have been jumped up a level and you go, nah, I'm not going to get anywhere, And you could be negative very easily with it, whereas you're going, I'm getting to adjust, I'm getting the plan in the ring. And then when it comes to step-ups, as I say, with your Myron Mills fight, then you were ready for it.
Yeah, like, it's an art to being a journeyman as well. Like, they do deserve massive respect, like, for the things, like, they'll have a couple hours notice, they'll turn up, like, look how much balls that takes. Like, it's mad. I got like mad respect for them, like the things they do, like fair play to them. And the sport wouldn't exist if it wasn't for them. The sport wouldn't exist, because you get 2 50-50 fights for a debut. As soon as that guy loses, he's not going to want to box again. So you're losing one fight out the sport, and you might get 6 losses on the show, and only 2 of them fighters will want to carry on boxing. Do you know what I mean? And so without these journeyman fighters, boxing just wouldn't exist, and that's the end of that. Like, do you know what I mean?
Exactly. As I say, I have a crazy respect for them, and like when you look at some of the journeymen we have, some of them could have, just because they couldn't sell tickets was a reason they went journeyman. Like I think probably Sam Eggington actually wanted to be a journeyman at the start of his career, and then I think Barry Hearn talked him around and said, "You're too good to be a journeyman. Maybe if you can't sell tickets, we can still publicise you in sort of way to get you out." And, he's still pretty much, he'll not turn down a fight now. So he still has like a journeyman type approach and going, I win or I lose, I it don't matter, But
yeah, that's it. And I think you've got to have that mentality as well. Like, obviously I've lost twice now, like, but a lot of people, like, at the start of their career want to go unbeaten throughout their career, and like, unless you are really talented, like the likes of Joe Calzaghe, Mayweather. It's not going to happen. You've got to be realistic, unless you are really talented, because the amount of talent out there now in every division, it's hard not to get defeated. Like, you might only lose by 1 or 2 rounds or something. It might be a close fight, but it's really hard to do, like, to go undefeated throughout your career, really.
People always find a way to sort of look at it. I know, you know, if you went undefeated, they go, yeah, but you dodged such and such, or you didn't fight this person. You know,
Yeah,
you can't win sometimes, so it's better to do exactly what you want to do, and whether you win or whether you lose, you've done what you've wanted. And that's all that matters.
and that's it. Like people say to me, "Oh, you got like I've had a couple of messages. You won't go nowhere now. You've lost twice and things like that." Like, I don't react to them anymore. It's all bullshit. They I don't know. It's jealousy as well, most of it. But I'm the type of guy, I don't care about them losses. I will take any fight. I'll fight any man, no matter where it is. I'll fight anyone. Like, and I'll always have that approach. Do you know what I mean? And I think more fighters should be like that, because you'd have more 50-50 fights and more entertaining fights.
Exactly, and probably more money out of it as well. You know,
Yeah,
good entertaining fight. People want to pay to see it.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah.
And obviously, you know, when you look at your weight class there as well, you know, if somebody was saying to you, oh, you've had a couple of losses, now you're going to go nowhere, you just write them back 2 words and just say Maxie Hughes, you know, because, you know,
Yeah,
look what he's done during the pandemic. You know, he's obviously fighting Stafford now that obviously beat James, but like, he's now on the verge. Obviously, I know the IBO belt isn't a classified real world title, but it's getting him closer to it, where probably a year or
yeah.
so ago, Maxie's probably going, maybe just pack it in, I can't be bothered.
Yeah, I think he said in one interview that he was on the verge of like packing it in and things like that. But like, look at what he done. Like, mad respect to him for going in the opponent's backyard and beating him. Like, do you know what I mean? It's fair play to him. Like, he's a really good fighter as well. Like, I do rate him like as a fighter. So, do you know what? I was speaking to someone the other day about that fight for the IBO title. I think he'll outbox that Mexican, because Southboy's tricky and he won't stay there and get involved. Like, James stayed in the pocket a little bit too long, and obviously that Mexican can bang. I think he got like 16 or 17 knockouts, didn't he? So I mean,
I think when you look at the punch, I think the punch that he sort of staggered James and stuff with, you sort of looked at it and you're going, it didn't look like there was much on it, but it's obviously just a placement and things like that. You're going, you were probably looking at it and going, if I had hit him with that same punch, you know, it would have been different.
He wouldn't have moved. Like, the only shot I heard with James with, and he said after that he was pissing blood. I hit him with a body shot. I think it was like in the second round, and I think it was a bit too like edgy. I didn't want to go in and react just in case I got caught with something, because the first 2 rounds we knew he was going to be really heavy-handed. So I didn't want to like jump in and try and get all over him just in case I got caught with one of them big shots sort of thing. But yeah, it is what it is, isn't it?
It is. And like, I know obviously in your first loss, your first pro loss obviously to Joe Cardena, you know,
Yeah.
like, I know obviously your first career defeat and things like that, it's sort of, it's going to be bitter and stuff like that, and you're going, then, you know, how to come back from and things like that. But when you look at the card you're on, you're in the Lomachenko Campbell card,
Yeah.
you know, in the OT Arena and things like that. You know, I guess obviously in a dreaming away, you know, your biggest fight of your career, British Commonwealth titles. How did you feel? Do you feel more now that it was a privilege to sort of share Joe's company, or what do you feel looking back on the fight?
No more so that it was just like it was a privilege, like to be on such a show, like a massive show like that. I can remember it to every detail now, like the whole build up all week, like and I had a really good camp. I went out to LA sparring 2 weeks. I had a brilliant camp. Everything went right. It was just on the night. He was too skillful for me and too experienced more than anything. But I think I done well, and I gained a lot of stock from that. And I think it was Adam Smith come up to me and he said, look, he said, you'll come back from that. That's no disgrace. That was no disgrace in that loss. Like he said, like a couple of people come up to me and said to me, like, you didn't get battered. It was just a loss by a couple of rounds. It wasn't like a landslide. So I took a lot of positives from that, and we went back and worked on a few things, and then I come back with a massive win. Then against another Olympian, it was a first round stoppage. He'd come off I think a couple of weeks beforehand, he just beat the Southern Area champion. So I thought he was going to give me a lot of rounds, but I got him out there. I think it was like 1 minute and 50 seconds or something.
So it's like, you know, the hurt you sort of may have had from the Cardena fight, you sort of didn't have to wait too long to get over it, but it's sort of first round you go, you know, why did I not do it my last fight, you know?
And then that feeling was gone then. Like and Tony said to me all the time, he said, you'll get these losses, he said, and you won't want to go outside, but every day will get easier. Like every day you'll go out and you'll feel a little bit more better. Do you know what I mean? It is what it is, really, and you just got to take things on the chin sometimes. Do you know what I mean?
It definitely is. And like, sort of, I know we've already touched a wee bit on the fight with James Tennyson, obviously on Fight Camp.
Yeah.
But obviously, you know, looking into the fight, you were both obviously attempting to win the British title at the second time around of asking. Like, I guess when you sort of look at the fight, I guess you knew he was going to be straight on you pretty much at the start. Like, obviously when you lost to Cardena, I think James had a serious stoppage one. I think it was Fiaz, was it? He brutally knocked him out.
Atif Shafiq.
Yep, Shafiq, the one.
Yeah.
Like, a brutal stoppage and that, and I guess it's sort of, you know, I guess your own mindset sort of going into it was sort of making sure he didn't stand in the pocket and sort of get hit with what brutal force that James seems to carry.
Yeah, and I thought I'd done it really well. I thought I was up, like, I watched it back a couple of times, like, and I thought I was winning by 2 or 3 rounds. Like, I was landing, I was staying in the pocket and working with him and then moving off. I thought I was boxing lovely. At the end of I think it was the end of the 5th round, I backed him up. I thought, I'm going to start taking over here. I thought he's not going to keep up with this pace, because I was starting to take the punches on the gloves, and I know I was marking up, but it felt comfortable in there after a while. So after like the 5th round, a little cut there, and they put some adrenaline in it to stop the bleeding. And Tony said, right, first minute of this round, get moving. Just let that adrenaline start working, and then start working after you've had a minute. And I did, and I sort of switched off. Like, my hands weren't so high, and he caught me with a shot on top of the head, and it just scrambled my senses. Like, I've never been hit so hard in my life. Like, I can remember my eyes going all grey. I was like, I can't see. I'm gonna have to take a knee. Like, I watched it back and I thought, I can't even remember doing that. I literally can't remember doing it. But I couldn't see nothing. It was like a blurred vision, grey. But then it started coming back round. Then, like, my vision, it was just like blurry, and I could see the ref coming over, could hear him counting. So I jumped up. But James is a fantastic finisher, and he jumped on me, and I just couldn't. I think I threw a hook, and he's caught it and chucked it like with his arm, and I was like, oh, no. But he stopped me on my feet, didn't knock me clean out, so that was a bonus. He didn't knock me clean out, so because every time I think I've seen his fights, everyone have been knocked like spark out, like. Yeah.
It's been crazy, and obviously I know he had the fight with Craig. I guess you would have probably took things from the Craig Evans fight with him. Craig Evans won 11 rounds and seemed to be sort of bossing a good majority of the fight. And, you know, when you punch as heavy as James did, I guess sometimes they're going to blow a gasket. You know, throwing so much power all the time, because I think like pretty much all his shots really are power shots. There's no real sort of methodical sort of jab, staying at sort of range. It's like get in as close as possible and inflict damage. So you probably knew at stages if you could probably get past 6 or 7 rounds with James, you're going, he's going to be done, he's not going to have any power, and then you just take over.
And that was the plan, really. And I thought everything was going to plan, like, and then that one shot, he caught me with. It was just like I've never, even in sparring, I've never been dazed like that. Like it was bad. Like, but he does carry power all the way through, like all the rounds. Like you've seen it with Craig. Like he stopped him in the, what was it, 11th? Was it?
Yeah.
And he was just all over him when he just like, and you could tell he was still power. Like he dropped him in the first round, like he heavy knockdown. So Craig done well to go past one round with him, really. So yeah, but I did take a lot from that fight. I knew he could be outboxed, but it was just the fact of sheer pressure and trying to keep him off. And he did get through, like and that, and like I'm not saying like if I didn't get caught with that shot, I would have won a fight. Maybe he'd have caught me with a different shot. But he is a fantastic puncher, and he's a really nice guy as well. He is a nice guy, like.
Definitely, it's the name of the assassin, obviously, as a hitman. But you see him outside of the ring, and you're going, how can you be so brutal in the ring when you're so nice outside of the ring?
Like even in the build-up, like in the bubble all week, like we were even like nodding, doing fist bumps. That was all week. Like it's not. Do you know? I'm not a nasty person either. Like, but unless you're the other side of the ring, want to try and take my head off, that's when the flick of the switch. But it's different then when you're gloved up and everything else. But outside the ring, I'm not the type of guy to pick a fight on the street or. So I mean, I'd rather help someone out than like, I don't know, kick them or put them down.
You don't need to sort of bad mouth somebody to sell a fight. It's more respect, and then
giving
the ring and fight and respect again.
Yeah, and I think the fighters you see do that are a lot better fighters than the ones in bad mouthing. They need to bad mouth to sell themselves because they can't fight for shit. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. And like, was it harder, the James fight? Obviously, getting stopped. Was it harder to come back from that fight than the Cardena fight, or was it pretty much you were used to? You'd obviously lost before, so it was like, I know the feeling. It doesn't hurt so bad second time around. How did it feel after the James fight?
It wasn't. I wasn't good. I wasn't in a good place after that. Like, it was obviously my first stoppage. It was like, I don't know, because with the Joe Cardena fight, it was close, so I earned loads of respect off people off that fight. It was just like it was like a pride thing, because I pride myself being on so tough, and like it was just a kick in the teeth. Like I can remember walking back to the change rooms, I was just like bawling my eyes out, and I didn't want anyone to see me, so I was like, took the towel off and chucked it over my head. I was just bawling. I just can remember getting in change rooms. And just sitting there, just sobbing. Like I was absolutely gutted more than anything. And obviously, I promised my boy a belt, like to bring him home, and that was more. It just like ripped my heart out, like sort of thing. It was not a nice feeling, like. And then like for weeks after, I just didn't want to go out. I didn't want to be seen by anyone. And then, like, I had a phone call off Tony. He was like, "Look, you're going to get a lot of fights from this loss. It's not going to affect you." And then, sure enough, we got a phone call and to fight Sean. So I had to get back training and get myself fit and everything else. But I was in a better place. It was because it wasn't training. I was going down the pub with the boys and just feeling sorry for myself. Really, you do though, don't you? It's like you put everything into that. Like I put everything on hold. I put my life on hold. I missed so many things to do, like boxing, and then to lose in that mat. It's like, it's sickening, really. Do you know what I mean?
Did it sort of help them when you're going into the Sean fight to sort of have that feeling, knowing obviously you promised your young lad a belt and everything else?
Yeah.
It probably when people, when other promoters and matchmakers and things like that look at your record and see you're 12-2 with 2 stoppage wins, you're going, you're pillow fisted, you can't fight. Pretty much as if you're pretty much brought onto the MTK card as an easy opponent for Sean for the Commonwealth belt.
That's what it was. That's exactly what it was, and I knew that. Sean had never been stepped up either. Like he hadn't even had like a like a tidy journeyman. Do you know what I mean? So I knew I was going to beat him from the off. I knew that. As soon as the fight got announced, I knew I had his number, and I was here, and I had that mindset, like I wasn't going to come home. Like literally, that's the feeling I had. If I didn't win, I wasn't going to come home. That was it the whole way through. Like,
I think I've lost you there a wee second. Oh,
it's,
there we go.
it's come back on now. One of the boys trying to ring me. Yeah. So what was I saying? And
Yeah, you weren't going to come home if you didn't get the win.
So I had that all the way through training camp. I was like, I can't lose this. Like, I may as well. If I lose this and I can't beat this guy, I may as well retire. That's the feeling I had the whole camp, and like every training session, I was giving 110%. I was leaving the gym, I was absolutely shattered from just giving everything in every session. Like Tony even said to me, he said, "You're a different person this camp." He said, "You, my mindset as well with sparring and things like that. I was sparring people. I'd done 12 rounds one day, and they'd had five sparring partners it was, and they were doing 2 rounds jumping out, and then the fresh one would jump in 2 rounds. I was just battering them. It was in my head. I was smoking them, and a fresh one would come in, and even for 12 rounds, like it was just, I just felt the best shape ever, really.
Was it that sort of, that mentality to sort of say, it's only a loss if you don't learn from it, whereas the James fight sort of give you something to learn from and go, I don't want this feeling again, this time I have to bring home the belt for my kid, and that's just the way it was. And like, obviously I know, the way the sort of fight ended, probably in a way, I think Sean just become a father for the first time, and I think he obviously had a tough camp. He obviously didn't make any excuses over it, but he just was just like, I've got a young kid, don't want to be standing there, even though he would have probably loved to have the war he's were having, toe-to-toe war, just standing there slugging it out. He just seen it just like that, there's something to switch, it sort of changed for him and going, you know what, I'll live to fight another day, I'll not be the, I'll sort of, I'll just decide I'll just come back some other day. Have you sort of spoke to Sean or anything since to sort of pass on any advice? I know he's fighting now in the Fela in 13 days times his first fight back, but have you sort of passed on any help or advice to him?
Yeah, I just texted him. I dropped him a message. I think it was like a day after the fight or 2 days after the fight. I just said, look, I've been in your position before. I know you're feeling sort of thing. Chin up. You're a fantastic fighter. You'll live to fight another day, sort of thing. And he's just said a massive thank you, like, and for a great fight and everything else. Like, yeah.
And obviously, having the Commonwealth belt and then be able to take it home, it was sort of like a delayed sort of gratification sort of thing as it going, then the Italians going to bring you a belt home. Obviously I'm sure I'm sure from feeling that you're worse not being able to bring the belt home to them, being able to bring it home, you're then going, here we go. It was lost in the post, it's here now.
That's like my boy was like, he was a little bit older as well, so like he was loving it. Like I got out to the taxi and he's coming. No, I got out to the taxi and he carried the case in. He was like, "This is my belt now." Yeah. I picked it up, like, so. Yeah, it was brilliant. What a feeling I was like. Here he is, being on my boy.
Hello. I'd actually seen the video as well.
All right, I'll come and build it for you now, okay? I'll be 10 minutes behind and I'll come and build you a tent, okay? Yeah? Honest God.
I'd seen the video as well, which is obviously very moving. Whenever you're able to put a smile like that on your kid's face, it's priceless.
Like no money can buy that. No money can ever buy that, and that will be with me till the day I die. Like, it was, what a feeling that was like.
Well, obviously, it sort of brings me on to my next sort of thing now. So you're Welsh area, British area, Welsh area and Commonwealth Champion. You've obviously tried to win the British twice, and obviously come up short on obviously both occasions. Is it still in the, not be able to do it, and it's still sort of there within touching distance? is it still the mindset that you want the British title?
Yeah, 100%. Like, maybe we get a Commonwealth title defence now. I know Maxi Hughes is fighting for the IBO title, so I wish him the best of luck in that fight, and I hope he does go on and win that title, and he can push on for bigger titles then. So that belt will become vacant, and hopefully I can be mandatory, because I know I'm number 5 in Britain now. So hopefully the boxing board will put me mandatory, and whoever else wants to get it on, that's a fight and that's a belt I really want. Like, and I know I can win it. I know I got the talent and everything else to win the British title. I know I'm good enough to win the British title.
And like, you know, my own opinion and stuff as well. I think the Lord Lonsdale belt is the best belt in boxing. You know, there's no other belt that looks anywhere near like it. You know,
Nah,
so you know you've
fantastic.
obviously been Welsh area and obviously British champion. You've cracked domestic level and obviously Commonwealth as well. You know,
Yeah.
I think obviously if Maxi is victorious against Saffron, and obviously it does become vacant, I think obviously it potentially would look like, if it is yourself, you would end up fighting Liam Walsh, because he was supposed to
Yeah.
fight Highland obviously before he pulled out of COVID. So
Yeah.
he's an NTK fighter as well, I think. So obviously I
Yeah.
know with you fighting Sean, you'd sort of done a bit of a deal with MTK, so it sort of sticks to their mantle and sort of like an in-house sort of fight.
Yeah, like obviously MTK, I got another fight with MTK, so a massive thank you to them, and obviously Leaton who sorts everything out. But that is a massive fight. Like, so I want to get, realistically, I want to get a fight and a defence of the Commonwealth now. Get a couple of rounds under my belt against a decent opponent, and then maybe towards the end of the year or early next year, just go for that British title with a big crowd there. Like, I want, like, I think it deserves that. A British title fight deserves a massive crowd. Like, it's a massive achievement for anyone. It's a great belt in boxing. Like, it's one of the best belts in boxing. So I really wanna win it and hopefully defend it 3 times so I can keep it.
Yeah, I think Anto Gokacci, when obviously he won his belt at the end of 2019, I think the British board had serious trouble trying to get the belt back from him. You know, so pretty much you have it for like a day or so afterwards, and then you're supposed to give it back. I think he was saying they were going to have to send like about 10 men to get it off him.
It's like I think it's worth like I think it's like 16 or 17,000 for the belt. But years ago, like, it used to be worth a lot more. But like, it's a lot of money's worth in it, so they're gonna want that back. Like, so, but yeah, I know Chris Jenkins is fighting tonight for his defending his British and Commonwealth titles. So, like, I wish him the best of luck. Like, I hope to God he defends that now 3 times and he gets to keep that belt. Like,
definitely, is it sort of? I've watched Chris. Obviously, he fought in the field 2 years ago here, and actually he was on that Birmingham card as well, and both fights were stopped with cuts. You know, it seems to be his skin's sort of like paper. If it cuts easily, that's it. So hopefully it goes more than 4 rounds, or it gets to the 4th round. And
I think that's due to like all the years of trying to make 10 stone. It's like it's tall on his skin and everything else, but hopefully his skin holds out, and because he's a fantastic fighter. I like the way Chris boxes as well, and he was one of my inspirations as well. Like, because he come off a couple of losses, but against good fighters, and come back and won the British Commonwealth title. So I always looked up to like people like that. Do you know what I mean?
definitely, obviously, it helps to keep your own motivation and own mind sort of moving as well.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, from speaking to Phil, obviously that's helped you out quite a bit with things.
Yeah.
You've obviously now been able to turn full-time pro. How much of a difference do you think that'll help your own performance? Is sort of giving you more time just to focus on being the best version of yourself?
Yeah, like I'm not going onto the building site in the morning, tiring myself out, and then going training after when I'm already drained anyway. Like, so my full focus now is boxing. So I just can't thank all my sponsors enough for just getting behind me and financially securing me so I can to follow my dream. Like it is my dream as well. Like so, like a massive thank you to each and every one of them. Like it's too many to name like singly, but like they know who they are, and just like a massive thank you. I can never thank them enough. Like just by winning belts and getting these wins and fighting on big shows, so they get exposure. Really, that's all I can do. And yeah, just a massive thank you, really.
Yeah, but it's definitely something I'm always very, very supportive of, is obviously sponsors, because at the end of the day, without the sponsors you have, you wouldn't be able
Yeah.
to have the opportunities you have to chase your dreams and, put another smile on your young lad's face, and, more videos and more memories that'll stay with you forever as well.
That's it. Like I literally wouldn't be able to afford the box. Like yeah, like even the medicals, the shorts, the boots. Do you know what I mean? So it comes down to that. It's fuel every week to go to the gym. It's food. I got a young family. I was putting food on the table for them. Like I literally just scraping by now. But my missus said, as long as we get by, and it is what it is. But I can always chase money after and go back to work. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. As long as I try and give it my best now for the last remaining years. Like I've got about 4 or 5 years left. Maybe 6 if she lets me. But yeah, like I still feel young. I still feel 20, like in my head. And obviously, I live the right life as well. I'm not out on the piss constantly. I eat good. I'm always in shape. Like look, I got a 6-pack, and I'm not even fighting. Like
not even fighting.
I'm not even fighting. So as long as I'm eating healthy and living the right life, I think it'll prolong my career, and hopefully I can fight till I'm 40.
Who knows? But obviously it's making sure the health stays there at the same time.
Yeah, that's a massive factor. Like my missus said to me, if you were taking big punishment, I don't want to be being in there. I don't want to be the one going to a graveside in a few years and you not being with me. So like that is a massive factor as well. Like so, as long as my health and everything else is okay, 5-6 years, yeah, I still got left, and I think I'm in my prime now. So it's time to capitalize on this and in some big dough. Big dough, yeah. I need to, man.
Definitely is. Obviously, I know your wee man's going to come back in there again, and obviously probably start punching the head off you. But just before we sort of let you go, have you any sort of idea when you might be back out in action?
There was talk of next month, but I think that's fell through. It's summertime. Like with boxing, these is normally have 2 months off of the year, so they would have been this month and next month normally, innit? But hopefully, maybe by the end of September. Just it's hard, really, because I know, but I can't tell everyone else, like sort of thing. But it's some big news in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Happy days.
That's all I can say without getting in any trouble. I'll be having my manager on the phone. What are you doing?
But look, we'll obviously look forward to you getting some fight news. I must say it's been a pleasure getting to know a bit more of you. Obviously, when you fought previously, against Sean, against James, we're in the opposite corner, sort of going, we hope you get beat. But it's not that it's sort of you detest anybody. You have a sort of favourite you have, and it's good to it's good to be able to have an interview with you and hear your story and how things have been from where we might not have seen it. So it's definitely been a pleasure getting to know a bit more of you.
Yeah, and I think I've gained a lot of Irish fans as well. A lot of Irish people have messaged me, and I've sent like a couple of signed photos over and things like that. So it's brilliant. Like, and hopefully I can fight in Ireland one day. Like, 'cause I know the Irish boxing fans are hardcore boxing fans, and they really know they fight in. So like, that's one of my dreams as well. I'd love to fight in Ireland and or fight. Yes. Like on a big show, like I would have loved to fight on that Commonwealth bill. Like that would have been a massive show. Like so, yeah.
definitely. But obviously, Chris was over here 2 years ago and fought on the show, and Jay Harris was over and fought Paddy Barnes in the Ulster Hall.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I think that there's potentially, obviously, the zone, obviously, and Eddie Hearn coming back to the SSE Arena, which is probably the biggest indoor arena we have. So you never know what
yeah.
the future may hold, and you could be fighting Maxie Hughes there, you could be fighting somebody else there. You just don't know.
Yeah, like hopefully, hope it could be, but I hope Max Hughes goes on and wins that title. But if he don't, I'll happily take the fight with him anyway, sort of thing. So, and hopefully we get on the big show, because that's where the rest are.
Well, listen, Gavin, well, obviously, thank you very much for your time, and I'm sure, obviously, like anybody listening to this interview, we'll be looking forward to hearing your fight news soon.
Thank you for having me on as well, taking your time and out your day and having me on and giving me the support, really.
Not a problem, Gav. But listen, obviously, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Obviously, you know you're going to build the tent now, so if we see you online with black eyes later, it's the wee man's just had enough.
He punches shit into me, honestly. He punches me constantly. I just got to say, whoa, you're not allowed to punch people in the face, like.
But look, listen, thanks very much for your time, and we'll hopefully catch up again soon.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you.
Cheers, take care. Thank you. Thanks. Bye. Bye. Bye.